Greetings from the workshop. I'm back. I've got a bit of a different thing I'm doing here today. I'm going to be making a kind of a raised bed or a planter stand thing to grow some vegetables in. Last year, or year before last, I had a bunch of planters on our veranda, and I grew some tomatoes and some other things, and it went okay. But last year I just didn't have the time or the inclination to do it. With everything going on in the world right now, I think it's not a bad idea to grow some of your own food. Something to keep me busy, something to do outside, get some sunlight, yada yada yada. We have a fairly large veranda for downtown Tokyo, and it gets a lot of sunlight, in fact almost too much sunlight, and I thought I'd just take advantage of it. The veranda is kind of a mess right now. I'll insert a picture here somewhere, I don't know, and show you it's kind of a mess, and I want to clean it up, make it look nicer, and also make it more practical to work on the gardening stuff. So I'm using these, they're called Green Made storage containers. Oh, I've got one right here, hang on a second. These things, bought them at Costco a long time ago. They were like, they're 27 gallons, I think. Anyways, they're I bought 8 of them, and what I generally use them for is when I go to a job site, I pack them with tools or stuff I'm going to be using, glue, screws, all that kind of stuff, and it's just easier to move modularly. And also I've got them all painted different colors, the lid different color and the body, so that it's like that's a red one, that's a green one, that's a blue one. That way I know what stuff is in where, so I don't have to open all these bloody boxes. That's why they have paint on them, if you're wondering, if you see them later. They work great, but I bought 8, and I think the max I've ever used is 4. So I have 4 that are just sitting around here taking up space, so I thought, why not use those as planters? The plastic planters that I've been buying at the home centers, they kind of look like the brown colored kind of terracotta, mock or faux terracotta plastic ones. They last a couple of years, and then they just start to fall apart. Like, you can snap the plastic off. In fact, there's a couple of them up there that are actually cracked on the side and are leaking soil. So I figure these might last longer. I don't know, they're black, so they might not last longer. Don't really know. But I have them. They were cheap when I bought them. They seem to be something that Costco sells all the time, so I can replace them if I need to. I'm going to have to drill some holes in them and that kind of stuff. But I think they're going to work fine. Plus, they're quite a bit deeper than most of the planters that I have. And one of the things I want to grow is like carrots and beets and that kind of stuff. And you can't really do that in a shallow container, I've found. Yeah, we're going into gardening here. The other challenge that I have is I don't really have a lot of stock on hand. And right now, I'm just not wanting to go to the hardware store. The hardware store that I go to all the time, my favorite place, is called Super Viva Home in Toyosu, which is kind of on the outskirts of Tokyo. It's a great home center. The problem the home centers are having right now here in Tokyo is that people are bored, and we have kind of a semi-lockdown going on here. And so what they're doing is they're taking the whole family and going to the home center. And there's just masses of people, and these places are huge. They're ginormous places for Japan, but it's like a Home Depot plus. But the thing is, they're crowded, and I guess they're worried. So from tomorrow, which is May 2nd, they're going to be closed for a week during what we would call Golden Week here in Tokyo, which is a time in the spring where all the businesses, everybody closes, everybody goes on holidays, and they travel all around the country. Well, they're trying to get people to stay home, because we're hopefully peaking on this COVID-19 thing, and the numbers are starting to go down, and they want to keep that going. Plus, I imagine they want to, keep their staff safe as well. So they're closing for a week. So I can't really go to the hardware store, not that I really want to. Also, from tomorrow, they're closed, and like it's later in the evening now, and they've had shortened hours for a while, but anyways, I'm sure you guys are all dealing with that wherever you are in the world right now too. So the challenge is to do this kind of planter box thing with stock I have on hand. I dug through all my piles of wood, and I found I have 6 240 centimeters, that's I guess 8-foot 2x4s that are cedar, that are nice, and 1 2x6, which is only a 6-footer, that's pressure treated. So I'm going to cut that 2x6 down to a 2x4, and I'll use that for like the back legs on the thing where you don't really see it, where they're kind of against the wall. But I'm hoping that this is going to work. I've done all my measurements. I've used a great program called Cut List Optimizer, which works really well, and kind of figured out and done some doodling and some noodling and some math and some calculator and paper and pencil, and I think I've got it figured out that I can get all the pieces I want. I'm going to use some pretty basic joinery for this. It's going to be half laps and some kind of, I don't know what you call them, a saddle notch or saddle, like the one piece this way has a notch in it and then the other piece fits into there like with a half tenon kind of thing and sits on top. So it should be able to hold the weight well. You'll see. Anyways, I'm going to be doing this today and tomorrow. It's already in the evening here in Tokyo, and I'm going to cut all my stock up and do all my joints tonight. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go clean the veranda area up, move all those pots and stuff, and build the thing on the deck. So I'm going to not build it here in the workshop because I wouldn't be able to get it out, but I'm going to kind of set it up and see what we can do. Anyways, come along for the ride. I hope you enjoy it. I hope everybody out there is doing well, and I hope you're getting off your sofa and turning off Netflix and doing something different, make something, build something. And like my challenge is to do this with stock I have on hand. So come along for the ride. Here's all the stock that I have. I have these 2 short little pieces. I have 6 long pieces, and I have this 1 piece here. I'm going to have to rip this down to a 2x4 size to make it work. These are going to be the 2 back legs. And then I've got 4 pieces that will be the long kind of horizontal pieces, top and then bottom, because I'm going to put a shelf in as well, just to do better for storage. And then I've got all my other pieces. I've got everything laid out here. I've got everything marked, and now I'm going to cut it all. And I'm going to just use my little cordless skill saw to cut this. And then after I cut it all, then I'm going to have to go through and do all the joinery, and I'll take you along for that. But anyways, it's kind of a new thing. Generally, I'm sure you guys are all the same. When you want to make something like this, you just go down and you buy a bunch of stock and you build it. But I dug through my stuff, and this is what I have, so this is what I have to use. So hopefully I don't screw any cuts up, or I didn't make any mathematical or measurements errors. So anyways, I'll just start cutting now. Come on along. Okay, now I'm going to cut these up. I got my little cordless Bosch circular saw here. Got my ears on. Okay, I got all my pieces cut up. Here's my 2 top pieces. Here's my 5 stringer pieces. This will basically go like, kind of that between those. So I've made these with a notch on them here, and then this is going to fit into a half tenon, and then this is going to fit into the notch that I'm going to make here. So I got all these marked out, and I was thinking about how to do this. I thought, I could use a chisel and pound and everything else. It's kind of getting late. I don't really want to be pounding. So the router is better for noise in my workshop because I'm underground in a concrete bunker here. Pounding you can hear because it transmits through the concrete. The router, not so much. So I'm going to grab my respirator because the dust from cedar is not the greatest thing to be breathing, and put on my hearing protection and start banging these away. I'm just going to do them freehand. As I said before, it's a planter. It's not, end of the world if it's not perfect, but I'll get as close as possible. Stay tuned. Whew, what a mess. Tell you, the router's got to be one of the most versatile tools in the shop as well as the messiest. Good morning. So I'm back. Didn't take a lot of video last night. I kind of got into doing this and getting it done. So here's the top basically made. The boxes fit in the holes here. This is all jointed together nicely. It worked out pretty good. I had to fill a couple of gaps where, like I said before, my router kind of took too big a bite. I used Type Bond 3 glue on it, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these clamps off, and then I'm going to probably sand down or plane down these places here, and I want to fill these gaps in with some epoxy. I know from experience that anything outside, like our veranda, gets sun all the time, and it's pretty brutal conditions out there. So over time, this is going to really take a beating. One of the things I've learned from having stuff outside and it coming apart and falling apart is, of course, the way that the water gets into the wood is through the end grain. That's the easiest way, right? Because I mean, a piece of wood is basically like a bunch of straws stuck together. On the side, the water penetration is not nearly as much, but on the end, it's quite a bit. So like, for example, the tops and the bottoms of the legs, I'm going to coat them with epoxy. And even in these little spots here, I think I might put some epoxy in these little, where the pieces join together, just to kind of keep the water from soaking down into there and getting into that joint. But I'm going to go ahead with that, so stay tuned, follow along. So this is the end of the planter box thing, and as you can see, this is the joint that I did. I don't know what you call this, even a notch joint, or no idea. I should look it up, I guess. This is a joint that I did on all of the joints here, and then I've got 2 decking screws here. I found some actual Robertson decking screws that I bought a long time ago. But anyway, so this is a good solid joint. Should be able to hold the weight of the boxes full of soil and vegetables fairly well. Okay, so a little more done here. That's going to be the legs. They're just going to be like that. This is the back side because I got these. I didn't have enough cedar to do the whole thing in cedar, so I got these 2 pieces of pressure treated here, and then front and back. This is going to be here. I'm going to cut these legs so that this actually fits inside, flush like that, and be super strong. And then across here, I'm going to make some boards to make like a shelf, so I have a place to put stuff. So I'm going to get working on that. So I'm pre-assembling this here. I'm using some, they're kind of a decking screw, and they're Robertson. These things are like hen's teeth here in Tokyo. They're so rare that when you buy a box of them, they come with a driver bit, because it's hard to find Robertson driver bits here in Tokyo. I love these things. They're great. They're even the similar brown color, and they don't rust. So they're really, really great. Gotta like them. So I'm going to pre-assemble this, and then I'm going to label it all, and then once it's all labeled, I'll take it apart and take it upstairs and make a space for it and put it all together. What I got to do here next is I got to put a stringer between these. The only material I have left are these 2 pieces, but they should be just about perfect to put one in there. And when I don't have any cedar, unfortunately, I'm going to put one there and one there. I don't even think I have enough material left over. Is that one long enough? Ooh, that one's just long enough. I'll put that one in the middle, I guess. And then I got to put boards to make a shelf. And I have these 2 boards. I haven't even done the math yet to see if it's enough. I have these 2, plus I got a piece of 1x6 pressure treated, which I'd rather not use. This is I can't remember what it's called. It's like it's called lemon wood. Is that right? It's like a cheaper version of Spanish cedar, because actually technically you can't actually get Spanish cedar in Japan for reasons. And I built a humidor years ago, and I took a bunch of this and I split it up really thin, and or resawed it really thin and used it to line the inside of the humidor, big commercial humidor. And I have these 2 boards left over, so it should wear pretty well. God, I think that's Spanish cedar. I can't remember. It looks like ash, to be honest. Whatever, it's going on here. It's 2 thin boards that I have. It's about the right size. I don't know, how many do I need? I gotta figure it out. I'm not doing math on YouTube. Anyways, just a little bit more to do here, and I'll have this thing all assembled and put together, and then I'll be able to disassemble it and take it upstairs and move all that stuff and clear space and get this thing done. Thanks for watching. Okay, basically it's done. It took a little longer than expected, but I had a couple other things I had to do today besides working on this. It's getting later in the evening tonight, so I'll have to wait again until tomorrow, which I think is Sunday. I'm not sure. I don't know what day of the week it is anymore. Sunday, and then I'll can do my gardening. Hopefully it's going to be decent weather tomorrow. So, it's basically done. I want to put some epoxy on the top of the legs and the bottom of the legs, because that's one of the areas where a lot of water will get in, it will rot. So after I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart. There's 3 screws here and 4 screws here, and each leg should come off. So then I'll be left with the top piece, the bottom piece, and 4 legs. And so that should fairly easily, be able to, I can take it upstairs, and I got to go up through my stairs here and then up in the elevator up to our rooftop garden. Well, not really rooftop, but up to our veranda, and then I can reassemble it in situ after I move everything out of the way. And I was thinking I should, because we do have typhoons here, so I thought maybe it might be a good idea to drill some holes into concrete and put a couple of L brackets or something on it to anchor it to one of the walls there. Might be able to even anchor it to the stainless steel railing somehow. I got to think about that. But anyways, tune in tomorrow. It'll be just a few minutes for you guys, but it'll be tomorrow for me. And thanks for following along. I really appreciate it. See ya. Well, I finally got it done out here. So now I'm digging through all these planters and getting the rocks and stuff out and taking the weeds out and filling up my boxes. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. A lot better to deal with. I'm going to end up putting the yellow lids back on and leave them on for like a week to kill any of the weeds that I didn't get. And we'll see how it goes. A bad day in Tokyo today. A good overcast. At least it ain't raining. Oh, it's really windy up here. Anyways, just wanted to show you some quick video of the whole setup finished. The gardening area here is a lot better than it was. There it is in all its glory. I think it looks a lot better than it was. I got the lids on here, and I thought I'd leave them on for a week or so, and any weeds that are in there that I wasn't able to pick out, they can hopefully grow in the darkness there and die or whatever they're supposed to do. So I got a bit of cleaning up here on the deck. It's got some stones and dirt and stuff here. I'll have to come up with my shop vac and vacuum my lawn, my fake grass lawn. Get the COVID hair going. God, I need a haircut. Anyways, this took a little longer than I thought it would due to other things just going on. It's raining now, so I better keep this short. Anyways, this is a great project. I really enjoyed doing this. It was a lot of fun. It was a challenge because I made it a rule of not going out of the house, basically not leaving the workshop to buy anything anywhere. I just had to completely use what was here. Ooh, it's windy here. I hope you can hear me. Hope the wind isn't too bad. And I hope the wind doesn't blow over my camera. Anyways, that's it. It was a great little project. I encourage everybody to get out there and do something. It's gonna blow away. And get off the sofa, when you're out in public, wash your hands, wear your mask, be safe, and get out there and make something. You'll feel better, I promise. Okay, that's it. See you later. Bye-bye.